Thanks for staying tuned to Niger Delta today. Well, at 38, Akwa Ibom has much to celebrate. Infrastructure growth and strides in governance have been areas of interest for successive governments. But anniversaries also invite reflection. With the majority of the population in Akwa Ibom State under 30, the state's future depends on youth empowerment. Today we ask, how is the youth development agenda shaping up, and what roles does strategic communication play in making sure young people not only hear about opportunities but also access them? To discuss this, we welcome SA to the Governor and Electronic Media, Mr. Patrick Ebeke, joins us live on the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Silvio. It's nice to be here.
Good to have you. Well, the last time we spoke, you had a lot of things to say regarding the activities of the state governor, Pastor Moino, especially when it has to do with youth development and ensuring that the state continually, holds sway when we talk about the activities of government and areas that also include job creation and all of that. But at 38 years, Akwa Ibom has come a long way. And one cardinal area that every government always hammers on is how is the youth population doing, and are they truly being carried along when we talk about government policies and agenda. I'd like you to appraise Akwa Ibom at 38 when we talk about youth development. How has it been? Have we fared well?
I think it's almost a masterstroke of divinity that we are talking about this particular thing at this particular point. Akwa Ibom at 38, and then we are so focused on how the youths have fared so far. The beauty of what is happening right now in Akwa Ibom State is that this particular administration, the Pastor Mobasi, PhD-led administration, it's an administration that is super youth-friendly. From appointments to policies, implementation to policy formulation, it's all centered about the largest demography of humans in Akwa Ibom State, which apparently, in your opening montage, you say it's the youth, and fact-free. There are empirical evidence to show that the biggest, largest demography is the youth, people of the within the range of 25 to 30 to 40 and 45. And then when we talk about it again, we still also have to look at context. We have to look at cultural orientation and cultural upbringing, and because like here, the United Nations standard or age gap for youth is different from the African Charter of youth gap for youth. But maybe that's not actually what we were trying to look at now. But we just look at it from young people's perspective and how the government, in its wisdom, has done a whole lot for the people of that particular demography. One of the major challenges when we even talk about unemployment, when we look at the issue of unemployment in countries, in states, the spindle always look towards the youths, as it were. Because if you have a majority of the people who fall into this demography who are not employed, definitely it speaks volume, And if
I allowed you go on and on because I wanted you, to really lay a background regarding these conversations and discussions around the youth. Now, anniversaries point us to ways maybe a state can tell its story and trace back where it's coming from, the vision ahead, and how it hopes at accomplishing those visions. Now, you are working for the governor. When we talk about electronic media, you are there. Now, do you think that in all of your work since the governor took the helm of affairs, he has connected effectively with the youth using electronic media, which is the in thing now? Are the youths truly aware of these policies, agenda of government towards bettering their welfare? Are they on board with the work that the governor is doing currently?
I think the only thing I will say here, and I hope I say it properly, I say it correctly, I will borrow a maxim which the learned people, who the learned are, like to use. It's ipso loquitur. I think if I get it properly, it means the fact speaks for itself. This administration has been so intentional about adopting the digital transformation in governance. What am I trying to say in essence? Is the injection of the ICT in running the system. And right now, with what is happening with the cosmopolitan type of administration across the world, you can't be left behind. Over time, people have clamored for strong institutions. But strong institutions don't just make themselves. There are things that I must put in place to make strong institutions. Let me give you a little bit of an illustration here. Over time, people were clamoring for employment in Akwa Ibom State. That people need to be employed. There are people, some places were underemployed. There was not even a situation where you had overemployed in Akwa Ibom State. But the wage bill was saying otherwise. The wage bill was saying otherwise. So what did His Excellency do? He employed technology. First of all, let's do verification. And then we did verification. And after verification, we discovered, His Excellency discovered that over 2,000 people who were touted to be employed were actually ghost workers. So you see
in the civil service.
Yes, so what had happened. So now this was not reflecting in the wage bill because these people were being paid and they were non-existent. So with the introduction of technology, those people were able to be yanked out. And what happened? His Excellency now gave the go-ahead for employment to commence. Now, that is electronic. What is the next thing? The introduction of portals. The introduction of portals. Right now, we have about 4 functional portals in our Akwa Ibom State. I'm going to go back to tell you why the youths are engaged. Because when we look at the youths, I must say, and I stand to be corrected, over 95 to 96% of everybody has a smartphone. Smartphone. Over 95, about that percentage are still on social media. If you fall among the cadre of the youths, you're still on social media right now because this administration has actually been a youthful administration.
Well, Mr. Ebeke, I'd like you to tackle the issue of access gaps. Yes, you've reeled out some of these lofty activities of the state government, but when some youths complain that they don't have access to some of these projects of government that is geared towards empowering the youths, how would you respond to that? Because there are still people who say they do not know that these activities are actually going on. Is it that when the governor talks about that whatever he's doing is not politicized, he's being as transparent as possible, where are all of these other people who complain that they do not hear? And if you were to truly direct some of these youths who say they don't know the policies of government, how do they get direct access to some of these key areas, initiatives that the state government is focusing on towards the empowerment and building or roofing of the youth?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I like to use the expression or the illustration. The presence of a man or a woman with bushy hair does not signify the absence of a barber. There are a couple of reasons why the person might be donning the bushy hair. Probably the person wants to give the barber a bad name, but then probably, hey, you might say they don't know how to barb. That's why he has refused to go barb. Or probably the person does not know where the barbers are, or the person does not even like the barber. We also know that there are some persons, even if you're marketing long life and prosperity, they won't buy because they don't just like you.
Okay.
That being said, His Excellency in governance and demystification of governance had appointed a ward PA in all the political wards in Akwa Ibom State. And these PAs were supposed to, are right now expected to stay in their respective ward. One of the things the PAs are there is for information dissemination as well. It didn't just stop there. Even town criers in villages are now in the employment of the state government. The reasons are not far-fetched. Information dissemination. And then here we are too. We are here on radios, on TVs, social media spaces, still telling people about all these lofty, like you said, and I agree with you totally, lofty initiative of the administration. So
I was borrowing the words.
Yeah, so it's absurd sometimes, and I'm not going to sit down here and discountenance people's opinion, basically like that. But opinions, everybody has one, but it's our duty to make sure that you have the correct and true perspective of opinion you bandit out there. So it's absurd for somebody to say that he's in Akwa Ibom State right now and he's not getting it, because The billboards are there. The flyers are there. The town criers are thinking about it. The ward PAs are crying about it. We are here shouting about it. And then you still say you don't hear it. I'm afraid there's some level of when somebody does not hear well, what do you call them? Dumb? Yeah, I think maybe the person is suffering from some level of.
Well,
the thing is, we tell them, look, this administration, you don't work in isolation. Whatever you're doing, what do you do? If you're a farmer, you're an entrepreneur, you have services you offer, there are cluster groups. Now, that is how you get information sometimes. You know, if you don't have access to a TV station like this, you don't have access to social media, which is almost non-realistic in this day. I knew nobody. So the results are there. You know, it's sometimes it's, you know, when you read the Bible extensively, you know, the man who was by the river there, he was waiting. You know, they say according to the story, the angel comes to steer the river, and then people.
There was nobody.
Yes, people who go in there get healed, and he has been there waiting for people to come and help him push in. I mean, I can just imagine Savior with the person who still you will roll it because you are there. How can you be there and keeping vigil, and then people will come in and enter you? And so sometimes, you know, when a very permit me to say infinitesimal number of people with dissident voice just says a couple of things, you kind of wonder, where are they? Where were they?
Well,
you know, so it's scary that people could just feel that.
Mr. Ebeke, I'd like your perspective as a communicator. What's that one message you'd leave with Akwa Ibom youths when we talk about the activities of government currently? And what message would you like them to hold on to as the state celebrates 38 years? Is the future bright for the young people in Akwa Ibom? And when you look at whatever is left of the Umoina-led administration for the first tenure now, what would you say you're seeing the governor do in the area of ensuring that he continually strengthens the youth population to be able to reach out for their dreams and aspirations and really indeed conquer their world?
Yeah, it's a golden era. We all know it's a golden era right now. And I one of the things that make me joyous, I use the word joyous intentionally, is the fact that you no longer see young men queuing on the gates of the proverbial political stakeholder. What does that tell you? It tells you that young men are being gainfully employed, and that is an offshoot.
You sure will not see?
We will not see. Now you're using the word. If that's futuristic, I am saying, because the question is, what did you see happening? I'm seeing young men no longer queuing there. Why? Because they are gainfully employed. This underscores what His Excellency is doing, especially when it comes to the youth. So my in a nutshell, is for you to embrace and embody the Arise agenda. You will definitely find fulfillment in one of them, and that is just it.
Well, thank you very much, ASA to the Governor of Electronic Media, Mr. Patrick Ebeke, for speaking to us. And I mean, the coming months, the coming years will be interesting in Akwa Ibom. And with everything that is unfolding the world over, especially specifically here in Nigeria, it will be interesting to see what the youth population will turn out to be when it comes to supporting the cause of nation development and growth. Thank you for speaking to us.
Always a pleasure.